Hello my friends and welcome. I think that the Ukrainian counterattack has already been started because for the second day or maybe even third day consecutive there is some fighting on the south part. Still there is the big punch that we are all waiting for from Ukrainian side, but the preparation for it, the active preparation with the battle continues. From the videos and photos evidence, Ukraine started to get more reinforcements to that area and small number of troops went on attacks on the Russian positions near to Velika Novosilka, Hulaypole and Orikhiv. The attacks are not significant for now, but in some areas Ukraine was able to take the ground. But something bad happened today. One of the columns of Ukrainian army heavy armored vehicles together with Leopard tanks was ambushed by the Russian artillery on their way for the counteroffensive. So as you can see, this is the column of Ukrainian tanks. Here are 12 armored vehicles and Leopard-2 tanks. On the front there is the tank with the special demining equipment. The full video you'll be able to find on my Telegram channel. Here I'll just show you the screenshots from it. The Telegram channel, as usual, is in a video description just below. I was very emotional with my post on Telegram, but I do not hesitate to say it again. I'm quite disappointed of what happened to Ukrainian column, so let's see what happened. Basically, tanks stopped. They took those roads that were not mined at that time, and they were ambushed by the Russian artillery. So this video was taken from the Russian drone and published in the Russian social media. And here you can see that there is the tank or maybe armored vehicle that is totally lost. It is clearly the fire over there, and later on it was the fire from that place. So we can see that it could be Leopard-2 even. And here also you can clearly see the Leopard-2 tank that was significantly damaged at least. Yeah, you may say that it's the special white fume, but here is the gray one and the column was ambushed, so I guess that this tank was at least severely damaged. Then the video that was published just swaps to this place where you can see all of the tanks around the same area, the same spot, and there was the fire in this column, so the column was ambushed. We're out of the clue of how many Leopards were lost or how many soldiers were lost because of this ambush attack by the Russian artillery. As you can see, the drones together with artillery is the mighty power even against the modern day tanks. And the tanks hadn't even got the possibility to shoot to the enemy side. Well, I'm not the military expert, but from what I can see that there is almost no distance between the tanks, so it is the huge demasking factor. According to the book, let's say, there should be at least 50 meters away from the tanks. If the column will be ambushed, at least the other tanks may turn around and safely leave the ambushed position. So I wonder about commanders that led this column, that gave the order for this advancement. I think that those commanders should be dismissed and prosecuted for this loss. Let's say we estimate the losses from Ukrainian side, also from the Leopard tanks, but because of the actual counterattack, not on the way to counterattack, so clearly it's the big mistake from Ukraine. Also, as you can see, the drone was just flying over the tanks, so where are the special systems that might put interference for the drones, or where are the air defense systems, and where is the Ukrainian military intelligence that should have checked the possible directions for the future counterattack? The counterattack was planned for a very long time, and I honestly didn't expect that Ukraine will do those mistakes. I know the actual position where it happened, but I am not saying it on my videos for the understandable reason. Also, I want to add that all of the fields around are mined, and they were mined by Ukrainian side. So the soldiers took the only road that was demined, and unfortunately they became the easy target for the Russian artillery. At first, this morning I saw the pictures, the screenshots from the video with the same column with lots of the Leopard-2 tanks, and there were lots of the fires. At first I didn't believe in what I saw. Why? Because today Russia photoshopped one of the Leopard-2 tank saying that they hit it. It looks very real, but they took the model from the other tank. This is the Turkish tank that was destroyed before, and they photoshopped it over their own destroyed T-80 tank. So you can check out the smoke, especially at this place. So here it's exactly the same, so it's the Photoshop. That's why I was quite skeptical about this column that Russia claimed was ambushed, but after I saw the video, yes, it's true. In a column there were M113 armored vehicles. As you can see, those are not Bradleys for sure, those are just bricks, the squares, and I guess many of them were destroyed or damaged. Speaking about the Leopard-2 tanks, well, I see 1, 2, and maybe this is the armored vehicle, this is the armored vehicle as well, I am not sure, but this could be the Leopard-2 tank, and probably this is the armored vehicle also, but it's hard really to say because the images are really bad quality. Here we have some smoke, and the fire was on the video from this place near to the tank. So conclusion in general for this particular case: Ukraine should reform the army. It should have reformed the army before starting the counterattack. Because every vehicle, every tank and every soldier is very important for Ukrainian future. And I think this guy should have resigned a long time ago, the Minister of Ukrainian Defense Reznikov, after the corruption scandals with the food supplies for the army. At that moment, for me personally, it was understandable that Reznikov is not a good Minister of Defense. Budanov's candidacy would be much better. I told about it on my channel for many times, half a year ago and maybe even earlier. I even got some hate because of it, but I continue to state that Reznikov shouldn't be the defense minister of Ukraine. I'm the Ukrainian citizen and I have the right to say about it. The best scenario for Ukraine would be to put the external command over Ukrainian army, yes, through our generals, but it would be much more effective because we use the Western-made equipment, and I guess that our allies are more aware of how to use it. And yes, now we have the Western military advisors, but they cannot handle the operative situation, and that was actual operative situation. Then the column was ambushed. You may compare it with the Russian assault on Vuhledar that was during the winter campaign. They lost more armored vehicles compared to what Ukraine lost today, but still it looks very similar. The Russian tanks were also not capable to fire to their targets and were ambushed by Ukrainian artillery with the help of the drones. So I hope that our Western allies will interfere more in what is happening in Ukrainian army, because there is still the ghost of the Soviet Union. There are many dinosaur commanders who are not flexible at all and who may waste, as you can see, lots of the vehicles and human lives. I can reassure you that if we would have the NATO standard army, there will be many volunteers more who would like to join the Ukrainian army. But with some commanders you may lose your life for nothing, as we saw from today's video. So Ukraine hasn't even started the full-scale counterattack, but we already see the issues and the problems in the system. So my question for you is, should Ukraine continue the massive counterattack with all of those flaws in its system, or should we stop and reform the army? That might take maybe even 1 year. My personal answer that I think it's already too late to reform and we may continue with the counterattack. Unfortunately, it will bring more losses than I expected. I hope this video will go to the proper sources, especially to our allies who will watch it, who will see the real picture, because from Ukrainian resources everything is calm and no one is saying that Ukraine lost armored vehicles and maybe soldiers on the way to the counterattack. So again, I want our allies to go inside the structure of the Ukrainian army to see what is wrong out there and to change it. because they give us the weaponry, and if the weaponry is lost like that, it's not good. I think that you will agree with me. About the general direction of the counteroffensive, there is no surprise. It will happen somewhere over here, as I showed you before. As we see it right now, it will not be the easy walk for Ukrainian army because Russian soldiers do not run this time. They resist, they continue to use aviation and artillery. Ukraine tried to put the air defense systems close to the front lines. Again, sadly, one of the radars of the air defense systems, this is the IRIS-T system, was demolished by the Lancet drone. We have this image published on the Russian social media, so here you can see even Ukrainian soldier on the roof of the track. I don't know what is he doing over there, but this track was demolished by the Lancet drone. It means that Ukraine tries to eliminate the risks from the Russian aviation because they have advantage over Ukrainian 127 or something like that. But as you can see, Russia has intelligence. Probably there are some traders from locals or maybe from Ukrainian army itself who say the exact location of the units. There were cases before then Ukraine was able to find some rats in the army, in intelligence as well, but it seems like some rats are still in Ukrainian army who may give the positions. Right, let's go back to the case. The Deep State Map did their own analysis of the armored vehicles and tanks. They say that on this picture there is just one Leopard-2 tank. Plus they say that tanks and armored vehicles hit the mines on their way. As for this image, they say that there could be Leopard-2. I agree with it. There is the Leopard-2 tank, and unfortunately I think it is completely lost. 3 vehicles on fire and the type is unknown. And this is the general scheme of the vehicle. So here is the Leopard-2 that was destroyed. After the analysis, we may say that Ukraine lost at least 4 of the M113 vehicles, plus at least 1 Leopard-2 tank. But there were some of the vehicles that were destroyed and we were not able to identify those. Plus, many of the vehicles could be just damaged and might be evacuated from this field. According to some news, Ukrainian forces suffer stiff resistance from the Russian side. That is what I told you. Russians are not running this time. President Zelensky today visited the Kherson region. He spoke with the locals and he saw the result of the dam collapse. So the region is flooded and local people need lots of the help. And just after President Zelensky left Kherson, Russia started to fire to target the city. As it was reported, and as you may find also on my Telegram channel with the actual videos, Russia targeted our volunteers who performed the search and rescue operations using the boats. So Russia is the barbarian state and there should be no any compromises for our sovereign right over our country. My friends, I understand that 99% from my viewers are supporting the Ukrainian side, so don't hesitate, press the like to this video, even though maybe you will not like this topic. But I have to say the truth about what is happening, and the actual events for this day are not really great for Ukrainian counteroffensive. We cannot allow right now to fight for a very long time for the southern regions. We needed the very fast operation. It is still possible, but now I'm not really sure about the effectiveness of this operation because from the very beginning we see not good signs. I just hope that our military command will do some conclusions out of it, and also I hope that our allies will interfere more into Ukrainian army. Unfortunately, from what I am able to see, it could be a very long war. Here I hope that I am wrong. My friends, press the like to this video. If you want to support my job, there are some links in the video description just below. You may also support me on Patreon or on the sponsorship on this YouTube channel. As usual, I wish you a peaceful sky wherever you are and have a great time.